Okay, I need to talk right now about something which has been annoying me for quite a long time, and I've kind of always been scared to really say what I really think because I feel like I'm going to get people judging me because, I don't have it as bad as other teams, and we don't have it as bad as other teams, but I'm scared massively, and I feel like I've got to get it out there. I will also be doing my Premier League predictions for the brand new game week, but I've got to do this because I feel like I'm going to blow. I feel like I need to just rant about something because it's scaring me. It really is, man, and you may not know what I'm on about. I'm on about Burnley. Now, I know that half of you guys may have already clicked off now because you don't care about Burnley, which I understand that completely, but hear me out here. I am very lucky that I am in my 20s when Burnley are the best they've ever been since 1960. We won Division 1, i.e. Premier League, back in 1960, and ever since then, we've been literally just going down and then down and then down to Division 4. We were almost actually out of the actual Football League in around 1970. We went down to the last day of the season to go and play against Leyton Orient, and we beat them, and we only just escaped relegation outside of the Football League by the skin of our teeth. And since then, it's been a long 25, 30 years, but we've been to the stage now where we are now a somewhat established Premier League team. And all of that is to credit of Sean Dyche for me. And I'm going to say this again to the day he probably one day leaves, that he's top 5 best managers in Premier League. I actually have no doubt in my mind. You can give me whatever you want to say. With what he's done with the players that he has, no one can compete with him. Honestly, not a single manager outside top 6 can even compete with Sean Dyche. That's my honest opinion. With the things that he's done to those players, they should be nowhere near competing to where they actually are. And that's no offense to the team. Here's some stats for you guys, right? In our entire team which we have right now, only 7 players have ever even played top level football. Top level, all Premier League level, only 7 players, and most of them are all now in their 30s, such as Jack Cook, such as Eric Peters, Matthew Loughton, Phil Bardsley. Are you seeing my issue here? The only players that we have which is below the age of 30, which is having any Premier League experience before joining our team, is Robbie Brady, who is sadly very injury prone, so he barely even played. That alone should give you respect for Sean Dyche. The fact that we even came 10th last year, and by the way, only lost twice in our last 15 games, once against City and then once against Brighton on the last game of the season. In theory, it's actually only 1 loss in 14, but I can't depress a loss because, that's still a loss. With this Burnley team, including we're the only side to actually get a point away at Anfield the entire season. I'm not even lying here, boys. That is ridiculous. And if you ask me honestly, how many players in our team right now would still be in the Premier League if it wasn't for Sean Dyche? Honestly, for me, I think 4 players would be still in the Premier League, and that for me is Chris Wood, Charlie Taylor, I guess Dwight Mineo, Jack Cork, and maybe that's it. Honestly, Jay Rodriguez was at West Brom. He was a decent player at West Brom, so he may have gone up eventually. Ashley Westwood, he wasn't even that preferred at Aston Villa in the Championship. Brady, I guess, should be in Premier League, but his injuries can hold him back. Nick Pope and Gummerson were both relegated to League One with Charlton 4 years ago. I think 4 years ago. I don't believe that if we did not bring them in, I don't think they would be in the Premier League to this day. And you may be like, Liam, what are you on about? Like, why are you ranting about this kind of stuff? My complaint is, financially, we cannot compete in any level in the market. If there's a single other Premier League team which is going for a player, we have no chance. We have 0 chance at all. We receive over £100 million just for existing in this league. We've made good money, and in the last few years, we're spending the bare bones, and this is why I believe Sean Dyche deserves so much more respect. The board goes on about non-stop about how Bolton went down, and the fact that they are, in their situation right now. And ever since Bolton had their issues, we've just been so lacking in transfer market, and I'm worried because a lot of our team are aging. And this year, I don't think it'll be an issue. I think we'll stay up this year. As long as Sean Dyche is at Burnley, he's staying. My issue is in 2 years' time, and the way that we have been bringing in players, the market is changing, and we just can't compete. We can't catch up to the market. Okay, we brought in Chris Wood and Taylor in like a couple of days, and ever since then, I think we've been pulling the market. I honestly think Sean Dyche will now handle this for much longer, and I don't think we're going to get a single manager anywhere near the same level as Sean Dyche. Potentially ever again. Potentially for, I don't even know how many years. I don't know. The fact Sean Dyche took us to the Europa League, Sean Dyche made Burnley 7th, but we had like this 18th, 17th lowest wage budget, while also spending like the 15th, 16th lowest in the market. it's astounding how he's done that. And we've been playing Josh Brownhill, who's a centre mid, as a right mid for the last, I think, 7 games last year, because we, for some reason, released Jeff Hendrick because we didn't want to pay for his wages. Some of you guys need to put more respect on his name, and I'm scared because I feel like if he goes, and I can't see us, I can't. He runs a football club from the ground up in so many ways. I can't see a world where we will be completely fine without him. And you may be like, okay, well, who do you think's coming in, you know, other than Sean Dyche? And you may already know this, but I'll say it again. I think Joey Barton in about 2 years' time, hopefully 2 years' time, 3 years. I hope Sean Dyche stays forever, but I can't see it happen for that many more years. I think Joey Barton's a man to come in, mainly because he's already played for us twice. He loves the club. The club loves him, the fans love him, he's best friends with Sean Dyche, so he even knows how we do things from not just a player perspective, but also as a manager perspective, and also he's currently manager of Liverpool Town, which they have been doing a decent job in the last year or two. I don't want to be negative, yeah, but I'm seeing all these other teams do amazing in the market. Sheffield United getting Bogo and Lau and these players for like 10 mil, and we can't get that. Usually we are that team that gets us decent signings in Championship. We can't do that. We're scrounging for these sort of players, but we're just every other team around us is just spending big money, and I'm not expecting us to spend big money. As of right now, we're going to the season with no signings. We got Will Norris, which is a backup goalkeeper. He's a third choice goalkeeper, and also Tarkowski's been linked like 1,000 times to West Ham and Leicester, which I think he probably may go. I wouldn't be surprised. I think Dramini will stay, and I think Nick Pope will stay. But our team were already so slim before. We have one right mid. We have one right mid in Gudmundsson, who's the most injury-prone guy I've ever seen. Anyway, that's me complaining about Burnley. Let's get into my predictions for this weekend's Premier League football game. Here we go, boys, into my predictions for the first weekend's games of the Premier League. So we've got ourselves every single match up here other than United versus Burnley and City versus Villa, because they played in Europa League. We can't play them, so sadly my team Burnley aren't playing this weekend. If you can't tell, I'm a Burnley fan, hence the first 5-6 minutes of this video. Anyway, let's get into my predictions. I'm quite confident here. So let's see how I do, and I may do this each week. If you do want more of this, then let me know down below in comments, and I may make this a common thing each Friday. You never know. So Fulham versus Arsenal, I'm going to say this will be a 3-0 win to Arsenal. Fulham, I don't know why, I've just got a hunch. The same sort of feeling I had with Norwich, that I just feel like they're going to struggle this year. I just don't know why. They brought in Tete, Areola, and I guess gonna have to wait and see. I just don't have much faith in them, especially defensively, for this Premier League season. So Arsenal, of course, beating Liverpool in Community Shield. They're in great spirits right now, and I think that will continue. So I'm gonna say a 3-0 win for Arsenal, and that should be quite an easy game for them. Palace versus Southampton. This one's gonna be quite interesting. It could go either way for this one. It could be a draw, win on both sides. Palace bringing in Batshuayi and Eze. Batshuayi is a big signing, and I don't think Palace this year will go down anymore. I did say I think they would in my prediction, but that signing of Batshuayi is big. So I'm going to say that they will have a lot of high hopes with that signing. However, Southampton ending off last year very well, and Palace ending off last year very poorly. It just depends on how we take this year. And for me personally, I think that with Southampton and how they are currently playing right now, so I'm going to go with a bit of a hunch here, and I'm going to say that Southampton will beat Palace 2-1. It may take time for Eze to get into the swing of things in Premier League, so I think he's going to have bright spots, but I think Southampton will take this win and win 2-1. Up next will be Liverpool versus Leeds. A lot of eyes will be on this game, looking at the reigning champions and see how they perform, and also the brand new team in Leeds, which a lot of people are very excited to see and see how they do with Bielsa. With Bielsa, I think that they'll go to this game to try and hold on. I think Bielsa will try and be smart, and I think it'll be 0-0. And I do think it'll be 0-0 at half time. I think Leeds will be decent in the first half and maybe cause a few threats. But I do think the second half will be a bit too much for Leeds to handle, and I think it'll be potentially a 2-0 Liverpool win in this game. Now, this is big. West Ham versus Newcastle. That's massive, okay? If you don't know, West Ham has got a absolutely awful first few games of the season. Of course, other than Newcastle, they've got a lot of big boys for the next 6 games. You've got Wolves, Leicester, City, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, I think. It's not looking good, is it? So this game is massive because they need these 3 points. Otherwise, they will be bottom of November. Bottom of the table by November. They just will be. So they've got to go all out here. from what I've seen in the recent game against Bournemouth in the Betway Cup, they lost 5-3. The defence were absolutely atrocious and looks like they're not getting any players in before the game does come. I think the fan base and the entire club is so negative right now, man. I just can't see it happen. And Newcastle also bringing in Callum Wilson, who I believe always bags goals against West Ham, especially at their grounds. I just think it's just all meant up to be for a Newcastle win here, boys. Now on to Sunday, and we got West Brom, newly promoted West Brom against Leicester. Jamie Vardy always loves scoring a goal against West Brom at the Hawthorns, and I think that may happen again from a penalty. I don't know why, it's just my random hunch. Leicester will have a lot to prove, and West Brom has made some decent signings in Grady Diagana in this window, and I don't think that'll be enough for them in this game. I think it's going to be another win for Leicester, the away team. But hey, it's the first game of the season. It's just my hunch, okay? I apologise to West Brom fans. Spurs versus Everton. Everton making some big signings this window. James Rodriguez and also Allen and Decore. The midfielders completely changed. Spurs with Doherty and Højbjerg. I think both teams will be trying their best to not lose this game. I think Spurs, I feel like they should win it. But Everton, I just feel like they're going to try their best to keep at least a draw away from home. I'm going to say a draw. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw for this game, making sure they try and get at least a point, and I think they'll achieve that. So, I'm going to say a 1-1 draw for this game, boys. Second to last game now, Sheffield United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Sheffield United has to prove if last year was not just one massive, the overachievement. Will there be a second season syndrome? This game may give us an insight on would that be a thing this year. It's going to be a very similar team, and I would not be too surprised if this also ends as a draw as well. Bramall Lane is for Sheffield United, so I'm going to say a 1-0 Sheffield United, but I think they may pull it off. Bramall Lane is a very tough place to go to. I mean, we've lost there 3-0 last year as a Burnley fan. I know it's really bad, so I think that may still be a factor for them this year. So I'm going to say 1-0 Sheffield United this game. So here we go, boys. The last game of my predictions, and it's Brighton versus Chelsea. These guys actually played against each other in a friendly like 2 weeks ago, and I think that was a 1-1 draw. Werner scoring, and then also I think a penalty for Brighton. Friendlies is a different ball game to the actual Premier League experience. I think Chelsea needs to win this game. They need to. They can't make all these signings of Werner and Ziyech and Kai Havertz and Thiago Silva and not win their first game. This is very, very important. Will the pressure get too much for them? I've got a weird feeling that it may end up being a draw. I've got a weird feeling. Brighton can score goals, and they've got a good defense. I like the defense here. Dunk with Ben White. That's a good defense. I'm going to go with my head here, and I'm going to say Chelsea's going to win this game 2-1. But I can just see a draw. But I'm going to stick with a Chelsea win. I think they need this so much, and it'd be a massive letdown if they do not win this game. There you go, boys. That is my predictions for this weekend's games. Tell me your predictions down below in the description. And if I do well with my predictions, then I may make this a common thing. If you guys enjoyed, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new. It does mean a lot here, boys. And thank you for watching. My name is Vizeh. I'll see you next time.